I've seen many ransomware cases where companies had lost their data and was not able to recover. I've also seen where personal computers have been compromised and their data had been inaccessible due to data encryption, and no backups existed, making it impossible to recover the data. In today's world, we want to make sure that our data is protected and accessible whenever we need it. Which is why in today's video, I will share with you 6 ways in how we can protect our assets and data. Number 1, have backups. Backing up your data regularly to an external location such as the cloud or to an external hard drive that you own is a great way to protect your important data. That way, if your data is ever held for ransom or your data may be lost due to a hardware failure, your data will not be lost because it is either A, in a cloud storage somewhere, or B, in an external hard drive somewhere. Now, there are extreme cases where your cloud storage might fail or your external hard drive might fail, and then you're out of luck. So make sure you do have multiple copies of them. If you never heard of the 3-2-1 method, maybe now is a great time to introduce you to the 3-2-1 backup method. You want to make sure you have 3 copies of your important data. 2 of those copies are stored in different storage medias, meaning use different storage cloud providers if you go down that route. So use Microsoft, Amazon, or Google, or any other backup providers. And you want to make sure you have 1 copy of your important data stored offline. Number 2, encrypt your data. You want to use an encryption tool when you're handling sensitive data or data on your disk. You can use something like Veracrypt or BitLocker. And when you're dealing with individual files or documents, you could use something like 7-Zip to protect your sensitive information. The purpose of an encryption tool is to scramble your data so anyone without the decryption key will not be able to make sense of that data. This is especially important when you're handling a portable device such as a laptop or a USB because they are prone to be lost. Number 3, secure your networks. If you're new to IT or have zero experience in technology, securing your network might sound like a task in itself. But there are a couple things that you can do to make it difficult for attackers to get in. One thing that you can do is use a strong passphrase for your Wi-Fi to prevent unauthorized individuals from getting in. You can keep your network secure by regularly updating your router's firmware. And if you do have some experience in IT and networking, you can create VLANs to segregate your network. Number 4, use trusted security software. Now, this might sound common sense, but you should only install antivirus software from reputable companies. There are a lot of free antivirus software out there. However, a lot of them contain what is called Trojan, meaning it might have the capability to perform antivirus capabilities, but in the background, there's actually malicious code that is running and displaying what you want to see, which is one of the main reasons why you should not carelessly click on links and download suspicious attachments. And again, you should keep whatever reputable security software that you've installed up to date to ensure that they can identify and defend against the latest threats. Number 5, implement access controls. Now, access controls can mean a lot of things. For example, you can have an access control for your account, so your multi-factor authentication. Secondly, you can have access controls on your firewalls, so you can add or modify a rule to deny or allow a certain connection. And third, you can implement access controls by utilizing permissions, because you don't want to have everybody and anybody to have access to your data, especially if it is sensitive data. Do perform a review of the permissions and revoke them as necessary. Number 6, educate yourself and your family. If you stay up to date on the latest risks and threats in cybersecurity, you'll have a better understanding on how to identify and protect yourself against it. You want to make sure you relay that information on how to stay safe to your family members as well, or whoever has access to your network. Because even if you know that information, someone on the same network may not know that information and fall victim to social engineering, for example. Click on random links, download attachments, and execute malware, which then leads to your network being compromised. Those are the ways that you can protect your assets and data. To summarize, you do want to make sure to perform backups regularly. You can take a look into the 3-2-1 method if you're in the position to do so. Secondly, you want to encrypt your data at rest and in transit. You can utilize something like BitLocker or Vericrypt to encrypt your hard drive. Whereas when you're sending files, for example, you can utilize something like 7-zip. The next one is securing your network. You don't want to provide easy access for those to come in and out of your network. Make sure you have a strong passphrase for your Wi-Fi, as that is a quick win for you. And if you have the knowledge to do so, think about implementing VLANs as well. Next is use trusted security software. Don't trust the free antivirus that you find on Google. Instead, if you're using a Windows machine, by default, it has Microsoft's antivirus Defender, and that is pretty good on its own. Next is implement access controls. Review your permissions, and if you can configure them, think about configuring firewall rules and make sure that multi-factor authentication is turned on. And lastly, educate yourself as well as your family members or whoever has access to your network. And that is it for the video. I hope you found it informative. If you enjoyed it, let me know by hitting that like button and subscribe if you want to. Remember to stay curious and do things differently.